Dear friends, today we are here for a short lecture series. This is judicial reforms are they needed in India. Now, the first question which pops to my mind is where is the outrage? Where is the outrage for judicial reforms? And this question is directed more towards middle class, and I'll tell you why it's being directed towards middle class only. But first, let's talk about one of the three pillars of our democracy, the judiciary. Now, how will it hold accountable others when its judiciary itself is crumbling under its own weight? There is a long wait for justice in India. 2.8 crore cases are pending across courts. Now, the question comes to mind how courts are selecting one case over other. Which case is important, which case is not. Now, Supreme Court, for instance, is interested in hearing Rajasthan Assembly case where MLAs, were shouting for their rights, and it doesn't have time to listen to the cases of CAA or even the 370 Act. And at the same time, if it was so interested in Rajasthan case, why is Mayawati's MLA's case not being heard? Now, why is Babri case not being disposed of on one hand versus Ram Janmabhoomi case is being disposed of on the other? Which case is important, which is not? Supreme Court sat on Ram Janmabhoomi case for 9 years after in 2008 Allahabad High Court gave its verdict. Then in 2019 Supreme Court decided now it's time, it's important to decide this case now. Why was it not important for last 8 years? Now whether it's it all starts leaking about perceived corruption, whether it's real or not. You can't fault Prashant Bhushan for saying so. Whole media is outraged about Sushant Singh case where the judicial system has not even come into the picture yet. It's at the investigation stage. But the real outrage is not towards why police is investigating one case versus other. The real outrage is how judiciary is working its way through. Because judges are not at all responsive. They are overburdened with the cases. The stink of corruption has started reaching heavens now. It reeks of corruption, either perceived or real. Now, I fail to understand why so many esteemed judges, lakhs of judges have retired since independence. Thousands from Supreme Courts have retired. And they hold their head high, very, very esteemed judges and respected judges. They will hold their head high when they have given a handful of landmark judgments, so to say, landmark judgments. How could they not think about the pendency of lakhs and crores of cases? Why was it not important for them to solve that? Now they have given very creative judgments and they have handled very, very complicated cases. Why could they not design a system where the government had to give them funding? Today, Indian government gives them 0.2% of our budget, which is not enough. So why could Supreme Court not hold this, that the fundamental right of justice is being denied? Justice has to be within a fixed time frame of 3 months, of maximum 6 months. Otherwise, it's a case of justice being denied. Lakhs of litigants have died or passed away hoping for justice, waiting for justice, praying for justice, but it never came. Where is the outrage of middle class? Now, lower class never had any hopes from courts. They don't even go to courts. They are suppressed, they are oppressed in their villages, in their corners, and they are just living at the mercy of their higher ups. The upper middle class and the upper class, they are enjoying the benefits of this system. They can't be jailed. The one who killed Jessica is out now on bail. The one who has committed so many crimes, they either drag this through courts for years and not have any conviction. And if there is any conviction, they will appeal it in the higher court, then appeal it in another. They have made a mockery of this whole system. So the upper class and bureaucracy and government is enjoying and reaping the benefits of this system. They have no stakes in cleaning up this system. Lower class, ultra lower class, minorities, they never had any hopes from courts. The one segment which is being crushed because of all of this cacophony And people are outraged about Sushant Singh Rajput case, or sometimes Jessica case or Nirbhaya case or other case. They are not attacking the root cause of the problem. The judiciary is not being reformed. There are questions with Prashant Bhushan raised about its independence. Is it independent? Is it corruption free? Is it overactive? Is it a case of overactivism? And how are judges being judged? Who is selecting whom? There are so many fundamental questions. They are never been answered. And no one is outraging against them. Whom are we waiting for? Are we waiting for Anna Hazare to come? Are we waiting for full majority government to come? Government will never solve this problem. They have no interest in doing it. Have you heard any time BJP saying that we don't want judicial reforms? Have you heard Congress saying we don't want judicial reforms? No. No one has said they don't want reforms. But it's not being done. It's 74 years. Where is the outrage? Who is going to do it? Supreme Court itself has to do it. And why it has not done for 74 years? That's the question. Is it complicit? Is it enjoying the benefits because they can pick and choose which justice to serve and which justice to withhold? Who is their favorite? Which case is important? Which is not? Who plays God here? Middle class should come on streets and outrage because that's the only language people understand. In CAA, people kept arguing as to why they are protesting on streets, why are the women doing all of that, they are usurping rights of others. And I agree there are merits to this, but then why are we not understanding the fundamental reason? People have lost faith in the functioning of the judiciary. It's just the talk of television shows and debates where people say I trust judiciary because those high and mighty, those who are rich and those who have connections, they only trust the judiciary. Lower class, middle class, they don't. They pray for their entire life not to go to court. They pray they never have to visit a court. It's like a plague place where they don't ever want to visit because they know what's the reality. They know what's going on there. And why is not there an outrage? Why are we happily living in seeing Sushant Singh Rajput's case and hoping that CBI is taken over and all is good and hopefully someone will be convicted? Just the one case is important for the middle class of India. Where is the outrage? And if this is not the time, and I doubt there will be any time. And if Supreme Court doesn't take sumo cognizance of this case right now, of reforming their own judiciary, then it has to be understood that even Supreme Court is complicit in it. They want this rotten system to continue. Many litigants have died waiting for justice, and Supreme Court holds their head high that they are providing justice. Justice to whom? Civil cases are going on for years. Businesses are getting bankrupt because of it. Lakhs and crores and billions of money is fixed in a log jam. Nobody can do any business in this country because they can't approach courts for justice because they take years, decades to give a verdict. Even that is not implemented and that gets held up in appeals, and sometimes there are contempt cases. 90,000 contempt cases are going on for not honoring the judgments, and still courts are sitting on it. Where is the outrage? And if you think it's not your problem, and if you are hoping and praying to God that you never have to visit the court, keep doing so. But if there is one issue middle class has to outrage. It's not Sushant Singh's case, it's not Prashant Bhushan's case, it's not corruption, it's not police reform. Argue of outrage or protest for judiciary reforms, because that's the main fundamental pillar which has been reposed by our constitution to keep in check executive bureaucracy and this political system. If our judiciary is clean, everything else will get taken care of. So outrage, rage against this corruption in the judiciary, rage against the denial of justice. Thank you very much.